Good morning, Mache. New day, new learning. But how are you doing today?
Wow, I like this sentence a lot. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to do these days, trying to learn. Don't shout on your dog. It's just the
Oh.
dog. I try to learn a lot of stuff these days because I have a lot of opportunities to do so. But I'm even more curious about the learning that I can get from you today. So please.
Cross-pollination, right? I love it. So yeah, these days for me, it's all about how can we reorganize our squad. And I am in a company where we do Scrum in the very usual way, 2 week cycle and then kind of normal ritual. And I've already kind of broken away from that, trying to make things a bit more agile, working in shorter iteration. But then I started to wonder, can we break out completely out of this? Do we really need to bound our sprint to time? Is it really needed, or is just something that as an industry we got brainwashed to do? And so I started to think, also thanks to my colleague that shared that for many of them, we end up in a situation where they feel very pressured and overwhelmed by the number of tasks that you have. And very often we end up in sprints where there is more than we can actually do, right? And we are achiever, we are developer, we want to get these things out of the door. It's important for us, right? And I feel like this is something I found many people relate with me. We want to get what they ask us to be doing. But if you constantly don't get to that, you have this kind of sense of failure that gets in you. It's like, okay, I never get to the finish line. I'm always running very hard, but then the goal is just too far for me to get there, and I fall down before getting there. So these days, I am thinking, okay, what is this leading us to? And this is leading to pressure on one sense. This is leading us to maybe taking shortcuts. And this means that the technical debt is growing into our product. Things are becoming ever more slow because we take more and more shortcuts because we want to deliver more. There are so many different downsides of us trying to achieve more than we actually can do. And so I started to think about what are the alternatives? How can we do these things different? Can we break out of this cycle of the 2 week sprint? And what I am experimenting with in my team is let's focus on less. Let's just, we do the normal planning. We kind of discover user stories all together. We make sure we have an idea of what our backlog needs to be composed to solve a particular epic. And from there, we break out from the week cycle. We just look into value. How can we produce value on a couple of user stories? So what we are doing now is, or what we want to be doing, what I'm really trying to push forward to is, let's take few user story. We take, as many as we can start to work currently. And I'm doing that. I'm looking at the number of developer and I say, okay, we are 6 developer. We say we divide by 2 and we take 3 story, we refine them. And we know that those are the one that we can currently work on. And then we refine 2 more, so that we have our current work that is ready. Our focus is on the thing we just refined. And then we have just enough to continue working when we are finished. And so then we need to get into a cycle that is not anymore about the weeks, but is about the value we are producing. So we finish a user story, we start a new one, and then we refine the next one. And we get into this cycle, into this habit of, I work on my current task, I'm very focused, I know what it is about because I don't have 100 tasks to focus on that I have refined and that build this huge backlog of things that I need to remember. So cognitive load is a thing, we know about it. We keep the amount of information we have in our head very small. And we also keep the information very actual, where it's something that I will be just doing. It's not something I will be doing 6 weeks from now, that in 6 weeks I will forget. And in 6 weeks, it will completely be different because we learn so much about what we are doing. And then we continue to iterate on this. So I feel this is a way of work that we should try and embrace. I am still in the process of doing that, so I don't want to say that this will always work or it will not. I have seen this working on the past, and it was amazing because it kept us very much concentrated on the field. The issue is that came with this is about planning. Usual sprints, or let's say, no, I don't want to say normal agile, but how many companies do agile is that we have a fixed date for the sprint planning, we have a fixed date for the refinement, we have a fixed date for the review. And this way of working will probably lead us to have this meeting more dynamics. Probably the epic planning, so the first planning is kind of something that can be scheduled kind of regularly. So it's always going to be, I don't know, the Monday morning or the Monday afternoon. But then when you got to this refinement session, they are going to be dynamic because they will depend on when we actually finish work and then we jump into them. They are going to be shorter. So this is good, shorter meetings, happier people. But they are going to for sure require a bit more work to make sure that they are organized in a way that fits the entire team. It will also require better communication because now people need to be proactive. There is not anymore this fixed cycle, but as soon as somebody is about or is finishing work, he needs to be smart enough to raise the hand and say, look, people, I finished my work. We need to start planning a new session of refinement so that we make sure that as soon as somebody else finish, we are going to have something ready to work. So clearly, you're not only get benefit, right? Like every software engineer knows very well, it depends. And it's always about pros and cons. It's all a trade-off. It's all a balance. But I strongly believe that this way of working will alleviate the pressure from my team. It will make sure that we are more focused. And my hypothesis is that we are going to deliver more with less. And I'm going to probably tell you more, hopefully, in a few weeks or months, and tell you if this was a success or not.
But I really like the way that you try to make it. I'm all my heart with you. And in general, I think that time pressure is something which is one of the most popular, stressful things in our area. So definitely something we should fight against. I have one question to you. Did you already investigate what are the needs on the other side? Like, I don't know, maybe higher management or something, because it's also a very interesting topic for me, whether it's like the real need for them to know some dates in advance, or is it rather like they have other needs, like they really want to feel that you are productive and you are delivering something, but they really don't care about the dates actually?
That is a very great question. And for sure, it is important for the company to know when something is the leader. The problem with this is, I'm sure that you have seen this, is that making estimation is very hard. It creates expectation on the company, right? You tell people that you're going to take some time, and then maybe the sales are going to tell this customer that we're going to deliver by then. And if this doesn't happen, this ripple down to the development, right? Because the sales promise something, the customer is unhappy, and then sales is unhappy with product, and product is unhappy with development, kind of, depending on the different, how you divide the company. So clearly, these people will have to have an idea about when we need to deliver. And for this, whenever we prepare the backlog, we kind of, like what I'm proposing is that we do this t-shirt size estimation. I want to say day, week, or month, so that I give them an idea of when this is happening. But what I'm saying to my company is the industry kind of agree that estimation are one of the most difficult things on our workflow. And many times we got this wrong. So I'm saying, why should we invest so much time in doing something that many times lead us to confusion and inefficiency? So let's have a little idea so that product can tell me, okay, if this is taking days and that is taking months, let's do this one because it's a low-hanging fruit and it's going to bring value. But I'm trying to tell the company to step away from making promises to our customers, that we can give idea of what is the next thing we are going to be bringing to them, but nothing more than that. And this clearly is bringing some friction. It asks for a cultural change, and probably this is going to be hard. But I am lucky enough that it seems that we want to experiment. And so let's see if this is going to actually be a success or not.
Good luck. Good luck. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, my friend. Ciao.